Yeah, I think this is just a generic.
Hello, all. You're muted, Dave. Did you hear me? Dave, you're muted. You can't hear me? Can't hear me?
Dave, muted.
Dave, you're muted. You're not getting it, Dan. Oh, maybe he's on the phone with somebody or something.
Hey, good evening.
Hi, Paul.
All right, let me see. I'm not going to blur my background. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hear you now. Were you on the
Right,
phone or
okay.
something?
I was on the phone with a client. Yeah.
Oh, that's what we kind of figured out.
All set now.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Aaron, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, Bill.
Good, sir. How are you? Dan, how's everything going? Dan's on mute.
Oh,
No, he's not. No, he's not.
a mouthful.
Yeah, his thumbs aren't talking
It's a mouthful. He's eating his supper.
tonight.
I see David's joining the Navy, or at least trying to get a line over there on the Constitution.
I'd like to win the raffle they're having this week. And there's a Easter egg hunt on the Constitution. There's 6 golden eggs. And if you get a golden egg, then you and your family get to go out on the Constitution in August in Boston Harbor.
Ah,
You
nice.
can go online. You can go online and enter. I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna do it tonight after the meeting here.
I'm hoping not to be here in August.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Up to Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Forget the place livable in time.
Oh,
Bring your
Marion,
shop back.
before I forget, Marion, all the documents I need to submit are in retrospect now. So if you want, I'll just call Jackie and see what she needs and send them over to her.
That would be wonderful.
Okay, okay.
That would be wonderful, Dave. And if you need anything else, just tell me and I'll get it to you.
I think we're good. I think we're good to go.
Okay, I hope so.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Good evening. Doing well.
Mr. Bob Vincent, sir, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Hey, Bob.
Didn't I just see you?
That was like a week ago, Bob.
It's like just yesterday.
I may be retired, but Saturday was not a week ago.
Well, in infantry, army time it might be. I don't know. Mark, how are you?
I'm excellent, Paul. How are you?
Pretty good. Rocking and rolling.
Very good. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday is right. Happy spring to everybody.
Yeah.
See? Bob, I saw you last winter.
That's right. Yeah, a season ago. Yes.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah,
Dave,
yep.
I went for a VA appointment all the way over to Audubon Road. I just got the check for $1.39. Travel pay.
All
It's
right.
crazy.
So we're missing, let's see, Sean McGrath is not here yet. And Mike Owen.
I just texted Christy Yentl too, so.
And Christie. Okay. We'll, yeah, we'll give them a little bit of time there, but, anyway. I took off my blurred thing because I can't bring the flag in on a blurred vision. Let's go ahead and get the meeting started. So I officially call to order and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance here. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States of
United States of
America
America,
and to the
and
republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty and
liberty
justice
and
justice for all.
for all.
too. Thank you. So the, was that David clearing his voice?
No, not yet.
Well, sir, I think the first item on the agenda are the minutes, to approve the minutes of February. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes that Robert has submitted?
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Seeing none opposed, the minutes are approved. We'll send those to the town hall.
Will do.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the famous Veteran Service Officer report. David, you're up.
All righty, the VSO report for March 21st, 2023. Wakefield Veterans Monthly Food Bank was canceled this month due to the inclement weather and location availability. Memorial Hall in Melrose, where the assembly of bagged items are initiated, was under construction, replacing windows and removing asbestos. They asked us to move the distribution to the Milano Center, which we had planned on doing outside in the parking lot, but the weather, of course, did not cooperate. I called the recipients and told them of the dilemma and gave them the opportunity to visit the Wakefield Food Pantry at the Civic Health Center if they were in dire need of supplies. The program will return on April 19th. We now have 26 participants in the program. I worked from my home office last week and rescheduled my appointments due to a crippling injury to my right knee. I was able to solve many problems over the phone and entries into the database, as well as rescheduling. Veterans had aid and attendance documentation emailed and voicemails answered regarding some of the claims. Community awareness. There is a Hoyer lift and a hospital bed along with a 15-stair Acon chair lift available in Tewksbury that is being donated for any veterans in need. If it is still available, which it is, I got an email today on that, it is still available. Please contact my office and I will connect you to the folks donating it, or call Sue Magna, the North Reading Veteran Service Officer, at 978-357-5212. Why is March 29th Vietnam Veterans Memorial Day? It was chosen to be observed in perpetuity as March 29th, 1973, as was the day United States Military Assistance Command, Vietnam, was disestablished and the day the last U.S. combat troops departed Vietnam. Massachusetts has 1,420 Vietnam veterans per 100,000 people. Publicizing information indicates that in the last 14 years, Vietnam veterans are dying at the rate average of 390 deaths each day, or 44,000 potentially a year nationally. Today, there are fewer than 850,000 living Vietnam War veterans, many of whom are eligible for VA benefits. The Craft Sports and Entertainment Group at Gillette Stadium is looking for 30 Vietnam veterans and 5 Gold Star families to attend the pinning ceremony at Gillette Stadium on March 29th at 10:30 a.m. The RSVP to Patriots directly at charitableevents@patriots.com. This may be filled at this point, but it doesn't hurt to give it a try. That's ITABLEEVENTS @patriots.com. Chapter 115. As of last week, we have 2 new clients applying for Chapter 115. They're gathering paperwork to support the initial qualifications. In some cases, the aging clients do not have computers or access to one, so I will need to visit the homes and assist in this process. We also have one additional Chapter 115 participant who has been accepted to the program. And as I mention each month under Chapter 115, the Mass General laws, the Commonwealth provides a uniform program of financial and medical assistance for veterans and their dependents. Qualifying veterans and their dependents receive necessary financial assistance for food, shelter, clothing, and fuel, and medical care in accordance with the formula that takes into consideration the number of dependents and income from all sources. The maximum income number in a family, if it's one individual, $2,265 a month. If it's a husband and wife, a spouse, or a family member, $3,052. The maximum assets, not counting a home or a vehicle for an individual in the bank, cash on hand, $8,400. Married, $16,600. As of January 1st, the PACT Act letters have gone out to any veterans or surviving spouses who in the past were denied compensation for service-connected issues up to and including death. For clarity on this issue, please contact the office, and I can give you a more definitive explanation if you qualify. The coffee social. I did not attend it. Paul took the reins and he did a wonderful job, I'm told. They showed up for him. They don't show up for me, I guess. No. The coffee social is held Saturday, March 18th at the Quannapowitt Yacht Club on Linda Road from 10 to noon. Paul Cancelier, the Veterans Advisory Chairperson, covered for me as my injury was still prevailing. He covered all aspects of the social and picked up the coffee and donuts from Honeydew as well. Thank you, Paul, for your continued support to our veterans community. After speaking with Paul and recapping the event, it was a tremendous success. The turnout was large and the representation of all branches were on board. The April Coffee Social will be held at the Senior Center on 30 Converse Street, 10 a.m. to 12 noon downstairs in the social room. Access will be by the rear of the building and parking is available. We hope to have a member of, or perhaps members from the town council available to hear any concerns veterans may have that they wish to address at that time. For appointments for my office for the Veteran Services, please contact me with any questions you may have regarding ongoing benefits or submission of new benefits. We're located downstairs at the Senior Center, 30 Converse Street, Wakefield, and is by appointment only. Veteran service hours of operation, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2. Holidays on Monday hours will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Voicemails are checked 7 days a week. Call 781-246-6377. Thank you very much. Any questions for me?
Dave, what day in April are they, what Saturday is it for the social?
It's the third, I believe it's the third Saturday. Let me check my calendar. I'm almost positive. It's always going to be the third Saturday.
All right.
Let me, I have it here. I didn't put that in the report, I'm sorry. The 15th.
All right.
And what they're doing also, we can't use the yacht club because they're putting in the moorings that day. So they're gonna be busy as heck. So Bonnie asked that we move it. And I got the okay from Karen Burke here, the director of the Senior Center. Any Saturday we need it for veterans events that we can use it. So
Great.
we'll post that.
Dave, on the Patriots pinning ceremony,
Yep.
we're usually notified on that if they want Gold Star wives or family members or what have you. There's nothing on the flyer that says anything about Gold Star families or wives pin, and we've never been contacted to provide them with 5. They're usually contacted to provide them with 5 Gold Star wives and guests, but we've heard nothing about Gold Star, anything.
Yeah,
Being invited.
communications.
This is the first year if we're not invited. So it's
Yeah,
not on the flyer either. So I don't know if we're actually invited this year.
I didn't get it to the last minute, Mary, and I looked at it and I sent it over to, I think, Paul, and I put it out there. But I don't know why they're having a problem communicating all this. It hasn't been the case in the past, like you said, so. I mean, I'll check with Boston on that.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd want me to, I'll try and get in touch with them, but it's getting close. We usually hear from them long before this, and we've heard nothing from them. And that's what I got, the chapter president for the Greater Boston chapter sent me the flyer and said, no Gold Star, and it isn't on there. So I'm not sure if they're really inviting the Gold Star family members unless they're being accompanied by a veteran as a guest. Or
That's a
something.
good
I don't know.
question. That's a good question. If you need me to call them, I can. I can call and see what's going on with that. Or I can email the
Yeah,
folks.
if you could, only because I don't want to call them and act like I'm pushing us on them. You know, if they want us there, I'll try and get Gold Star wives or family members to be there. But I don't want to call them and act like, you know, how come we weren't invited? You know, that's, I don't want it that way.
I know.
If they want us, fine. If they don't, that's the way it is.
I got an email, I think this morning. Let me see if I can find it again, because it had the, that's not it. I'll have to look it up.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it. They sent it to Francisco Toro, sent it to the Boston chapter president. But she said, look at it, there's nothing this year about Gold Star on there. So I said, well, I'm not gonna go chasing them for it. If they want us to come, they'll invite us. But
Yeah,
nobody has contacted me, and they contact me every year.
yeah, I'm surprised.
So,
I'm
kind of
I
funny,
looked-
but it is what it is, you know?
I know. But, all right, well, like I said, I'll give them a call, see what's going on. I'll get back to you.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Also, Dave,
Yes, sir.
is it possible to get the Gold Star families added to that Veterans Food Pantry? Or Gold Star wives or mothers?
Yeah, they're welcome to come to it. The one that I give out every month, they're all welcome to come to it. I mean, I've always done that. I have a couple now. I have 2 or 3. But a lot of times what happens, Dan, is they either get the DIC or they get where they're not in the position to need the food. And so they just don't show up. But I call them anyhow prior to the date. And that's the 3rd Wednesday of the month usually too, so.
All very good questions for David.
May I ask Dave a question as well? Paul?
Absolutely, please do.
Dave, April 15th is the 100th anniversary of the BB Library, and they have events starting at 11 o'clock. So there were 2 town council members, myself included, that were at the coffee social the other day on Saturday. But I might suggest that you reach out to at least 2 of them who are running for re-election and see if they're willing to come at 10 o'clock when you start. And they can do a Q&A at 10, so they have enough time to get over to the BB Library for the 11 o'clock ceremony. And that's Maureen Butt, who was there on Saturday, and Ed Dombrowski. So, I mean, obviously, yeah, any town council members that can show up is good, but those 2 may have an interest because that's only a week and a half before the election.
Yeah, what I can do, Bob, is I can send the email to them and invite them with the anticipation that knowing they will have to leave early.
Right.
And I could have them initiate right away any question, Q&A period right there.
Sure.
That won't be a problem.
Bob, I think I had been told by Dave Ladonde, who's one of the assessors board, that he'll be there also.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, I thought Victor was coming too.
All the better.
I'm hoping he does come. I'm hoping he does come because a lot of I'm gonna bring some paperwork too on the tax abatement and and the process and everything for that. And if he's there, he came before, he came about a year ago, 2 years ago, and it was very, very exciting. He answered a lot of questions for people. So,
Close, I hope that Victor brings some of his food with him too. He's good at spaghetti and meatballs.
Any other questions for David? Okay, moving to the next item. I just want to take a moment to read the press release. I won't go word for word, but I want to do just a formal introduction of Secretary John Santiago. He took over the job as I believe the title is going to remain as the Veteran Service Officer, or maybe Executive Veteran Service, Executive Secretary for Veteran Services. But from the Governor of Massachusetts, I'm honored to serve as the Secretary of Veteran Services, and I'm grateful to honor Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll for their trust and confidence in me, said Secretary John Santiago last month. He's a U.S. Army Reserve Major who has served 2 tours overseas. He says he has firsthand knowledge of profound appreciation for the service and sacrifice our veterans have made, and he looks forward to collaborating with colleagues across the government, the legislature, and the Executive Office of Veteran Services team to ensure that they have access to services and benefits that are worthy of their service. This is also a historic day for Massachusetts veterans, service members, and their families. According to Governor Maura Healy, she congratulates Secretary Santiago for the distinction of being the Commonwealth's first Secretary of the Executive Office of Veteran Services, and commends him for his commitment to serving as our Commonwealth and to our country. As a physician, legislator, and a United States Army reservist, he brings a wealth of experiences and knowledge that will enable him to lead with compassion and move forward in continuing to improve care for Massachusetts veterans. With the establishment of the Executive Office of Veteran Services, EOVS for short, under the leadership of Secretary Santiago, the Commonwealth is better positioned to make sure veterans' voices are heard and to ensure that Massachusetts continues to lead the way, providing access to financial benefits and other vital support services such as affordable housing and our veterans' family members, said Lieutenant Governor Kimberly Driscoll, the daughter of a Navy veteran. The creation of the Executive Veteran Services is a result of legislation that was enacted in 2022 under an act relative to the governance structure and the care of the veterans at the Commonwealth's veterans' homes. The legislation includes new organizational and governance changes, elevating the Department of Veteran Services to a cabinet level secretariat. Organizational and governance changes that have occurred. There's 2 points here. One, the Department of Veteran Services is elevated to a cabinet level secretariat and removed from the Executive Offices of Health and Human Services and renamed to the Executive Office of Veteran Services. The second organizational and governance change is that the state-operated veterans' homes in Chelsea and Holyoke report to the Executive Office of Veteran Services and the Secretary of Veteran Services. That was as a result of the investigations after COVID deaths at Mount Holyoke and also in Chelsea. Some of the soldiers' homes governance changes. The homes are renamed from soldiers' homes to veterans' homes. A new Office of Veterans Homes and Housing is also been established with an oversight by the Executive Director, Robert Engel. The new statewide Veterans Home Council was created in February 2023, and the council consists of 19 members that are chaired by the Executive Director, Robert Engel, which includes the appointees of 4 seats by the governor and 3 seats by the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and the Board of Trustee members of 2 state veterans homes, and input on membership from veterans organizations, including the VFW, the American Legion, AMVETS, Military Officers Association of America, and the Gold Star families. Administrative and operational requirements for veterans homes. Superintendents are appointed by and they report to the Secretary of Veteran Services. The homes must apply for and maintain certain Department of Public Health and licensure and CMS certification to be inspected twice annually by the Department of Public Health. And then the establishment of the Independent Office of the Veterans Advocate Office, OVA. This office is not within or subject to the control of any other agency, effective on the 1st of March. The Veterans Advocate will be nominated by committee and will be jointly appointed by the governor, the Attorney General, and the state auditor. So those are just changes at the top that are going on. It was put out in a press release that you can find on mass.gov, but I thought that information would be of interest to you as we go through some of the changes here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
I think it's good to see a lot of veterans on those veterans boards, but that's, I think, what they were missing was veterans.
Yes, I agree. And that was I will speak for myself, but that was a search that was ongoing with a couple of us that are even in the room, to identify some names of individuals that have the certifications and the licenses and the credentials to do those jobs that were developed in the summer of 2022. So it's just an interesting piece. It's good to see the changes.
Yeah.
Very good to see the changes. Any questions on the Secretary of the Executive Office of Veteran Services? I have not met the Secretary of Veteran Services. I don't know if anybody here has met Dr. Santiago.
He's going to be at Boston chapter spring meeting this coming Saturday. So that's where some of us will finally get to meet him, but I haven't met him yet.
Okay. So I will extend an opportunity to meet him virtually. And again, this is work that I want to share with you that legislators and our politicians are doing. So Representative Lipper Garabedian has taken the initiative to host a virtual veterans conversation on April 4th. And I will tell you, I've had a lot of conversation back and forth on email with her and her office about this particular event. But as part of the panel that she has put together, Secretary Santiago will be there, and we will have a chance to meet him and introduce, he will have a chance to introduce himself to us in a digital form. There will be representatives from his team on the panel. And I also expect that there'll be a representative from Seth Moulton's office. Seth Moulton may even address the panel. Congressman Seth Moulton of the 6th District. As we all know, he's a veteran also. And we will be discussing some legislation, some state legislation, and also some federal legislation that the state is supporting for veterans. And just to give you a little quick education, if there's an office, most of us don't know about it. It's called the Department of Defense State Liaison Office, DSLO. and it is a public website. And they have, the Department of Defense has state liaisons that specifically are made available to those that are in charge of making policy and laws and regulations at the state level. And the Department of State Liaison Office provides the expertise for the VA level and the federal level of veteran support and services. And every year that office comes up with a list of 10 key issues that they circulate among the 50 states. And they try to get the states to generate laws and policy and regulation to improve those services to veterans in accordance with those 10 key issues. Massachusetts is doing pretty good. We're green in many of those areas. There's a quick scorecard on that website that you can see. It's actually a very good website. But I will say that the biggest change is that I invited the new representative for the New England region to also join us on the panel. She's been in the job for maybe 2 months, and the 6 New England states used to be combined with the Middle Atlantic states for one liaison to handle. And the Department of Defense has decided to split that up with the New England states to one liaison and the Mid-Atlantic states to another liaison, okay, to ease the burden on contacting state legislators and assisting their needs. But she will also join us. I forget her last name. Her first name is Melissa. I believe her last name is Wellingford, but she serves in the National Guard. She lives up in Maine, and she may join the panel. And she's a resource that our representatives can use, and our elected officials can also use to gain some insight to what the key issues for veterans are across all 50 states. So it's a very, there's a lot of momentum there. I will say that getting back to the community here, I have not forgotten Sam Stella's concern about the cost of living allowance that he voiced to this panel back in October. And that has managed to gain a little bit of traction. And it is also one of the 4 issues that Representative Lippert-Garabedian would like to discuss on the panel. So I encourage everybody here on the panel to go ahead and log in, participate, listen to that on April 4. I believe it's a Tuesday, and I might be wrong. Let me see. The April 4 is a Tuesday. Yeah, and it's at 6:30. And you can wear your slippers. Okay. The Veterans Corner. We need a little bit of help here. And when I say that, I mean not from me, from the community and from us collectively. Couple article ideas I just threw down there on the agenda. The Veterans Discount Program, I think we got that up on social media this week. There is a piece on social media that also went out today. Thank you, David, about tax assistance for those veterans that might need some assistance in filing their state tax. Does that also apply to the federal tax, David?
Yes, I believe it does. I think they cover all aspects of the taxes.
Okay. I have been approached by WCAT to do a piece about the USS Thomas Hudner, and I'm I launched an email to Barbara about that. I'd be happy to do that. They support us and I'd like to return the favor to support them. And I don't know if we have any last minute articles about Women's History Month and maybe something about, veterans, women veterans, and perhaps something from the Gold Star Wives that might be able to be posted before Women's History Month ends.
I can see if I can put some together, call Windsor and see if they'll put something together. And I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I want to support the item a little bit more than we have been. And I do like the idea of the Veterans Corner to get information into the paper, spotlighting some of the activities that that are ongoing in the military and that have happened in our history. Any questions about the Veterans Corner? The next item is the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. And I just want to, I don't think Bob Vincent is here. I think he ducked out. But Bob has done a lot of work on that and basically has found a way to include that in the town budget. But what I would like us to do is, do we want the town to spend that money to fix it and repair it? I think the estimates, I don't know, Dan, did you see the estimates that came in from
I didn't,
the recent?
I didn't see the estimates itself, but I know the total was 300,000, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that what they talked about at town council is 300,000. And ironically, the Department of Public Works has picked up the responsibility to go ahead and begin to schedule that. Did they receive the estimates and the recent results of the inspection?
I think they received it like a week ago and they had time to put it in before the deadline, I believe was the 17th.
Okay.
But I think Bob could tell more about that, but I don't see him here.
Yeah, I think he's he ducked out. The
Paul, you don't mean that he secured the 300,000, right? He had some funding to do the studies and stuff, right?
the funding, with the ARPA funding, he got secured, yes. But the cost to do the repairs is now an item that is over with the Department of Public Works and in their budget.
Oh, it's actually formally in their approved budget?
It is formally, it hasn't been approved yet, and that's gonna come up with town meeting.
Got it.
Okay. I would like the board to make a motion to approve the Department of Public Works take that project on to repair it in accordance with the estimate for repairs. But it's hard for me to make that motion without seeing the recent results of that estimate.
I had sent in an email to Joe Conway to get that estimate, but I haven't heard anything back. This estimate includes the monument, I believe, the fencing and the 2 cannons.
Yes, it does. And kind of like when you go to town meeting, what FinCom says to a line item, FinCom recommends that we move forward on this. I'd like to get that document to say, yes, we recommend that the Department of Public Works and the town council and the public, support the repairs for that monument.
I think the grant might have asked for $100,000 from the town, and that could be covered by AFRA money, I think. And then after that, if they could get a grant to match it. But like I say, I don't want to speak. Bob would know more about that than me.
Yeah.
But it's something like a matching 100,000, and one is covered, the 100,000 for the town, with the possibility of AFRA funding
Well, you understand, that was my note in the parentheses on the agenda. And that was the purpose of my note in the parentheses on the agenda, is to get our support to repair that monument. Me personally, I'd like to see it done. I don't have any documents to say what the pain and what the costs are gonna be. Okay,
And
Uh,
as a member of the Historical Society in Wakefield, I know Nancy sent and also a letter in for the Town Historical Commission supports that being repaired.
so let's do this.
Didn't they say that there was a second grant that we could go for when we were at the meeting?
They did,
Remember that, Paul?
they did,
Thought
but
they said there was a second grant we can apply to.
there's a second grant that we can apply to, but it doesn't cover the cost. I think it goes to $15,000
Oh, okay.
for maintaining the historical monuments that we have in town. So what I'm after here is, and Dan, maybe you can help me out with the Historical Commission. I have submitted a letter to support the grant that offsets some of the money that the DPW will need to fund that is underway right now, that has been submitted to the state. I don't know if we're going to get that grant, but I will say that Nancy Bertrand also submitted a grant on behalf of the Historical Commission. That was a required letter of support. I would like to just add that the Wakefield Veterans Advisory Board continues to support the effort to repair the monument. It is a piece of our history that is absolutely significant.
Here's Bob is back, so.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Bob, just to kind of wrap this up, what I'm looking for is for the veterans and enough information to make a motion for the Veterans Advisory Board to recommend that we push forward as a Veterans Advisory Board to support the repair of the monument. But I don't have a motion. I'm trying to form that motion. You're on mute, Bob. Okay. There you go.
What?
Something 7. Okay, he's lost his sound.
He's on mute. You can't get off mute?
No, you can't get off of mute.
Oh, that's weird.
We can table this until April, the April meeting. And what I'm
The
seeking,
application, I think, was already
Okay.
sent.
Hey, can you hear me now?
we got you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I lost all connectivity, and then when I got back on, it said audio wouldn't work, and it wouldn't let me unmute, but I had to go and play around with it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything that Veteran Advisory Board needs to do on the memorial, Paul.
Okay,
I can't talk with too much specificity tonight, but after Monday's town council meeting, you'll have a better understanding of where it's at. I can tell you that the estimate came in for $300,000. I can tell you that Wakefield, through the Public Works Department, last Friday applied for the Massachusetts Preservation Projects Fund grant, which is a matching grant, with letters, as I heard you indicate, from the Historical Commission, from you, Paul, from me, in my individual capacity, not as a member of town council, just as a retired military veteran, and some other people from town. And that got submitted on Friday. We'll find out about that. The board sits down and meets in the latter part of May. And then we should find out in June whether we've been selected for that particular grant. Meanwhile, the Public Works Department is working the repair costs into their budget. And there's not much more I can say on that right now.
got it.
That's still going through the capital planning committee.
At some point, does the VAB support have any weight to make this go forward?
I think that if this goes forward as a warrant article for a town meeting as part of the capital planning committee, and that's a lot of ifs there, then I think that if you all wrote a letter of support in the daily item prior to the spring town meeting, and or if members of the Veterans Advisory Board attended that spring town meeting and got up to the microphone and spoke in support of that, that would be useful.
Well, I'm also thinking, so a vote by the Veterans Advisory Board doesn't really carry much weight.
Well, I don't know about right now. I mean, I do think that if this gets through, if this gets submitted as a warrant article and the warrants close on April 4th, then I think after that, at your April meeting, if you voted in favor of supporting that warrant article, you could do that.
Got it. Okay,
Well, I'll have something, I hope to have something more definitive after Monday's town council meeting.
yeah, and I'd like to go into the town meeting with a vote from the Veterans Advisory Board for town council.
Right, you could do that in April.
We can do that in April.
Right.
Perfect. Okay. Any questions around pushing that forward and where we are and where it needs to go? Okay. Memorial Day, the program. I want to, before I get into Memorial Day, April 20, what was the date that I gave you, David? 26 or for Salute the Veterans?
Yeah, I believe it is. Hold on, I got my calendar right here. Yeah, I'm telling you, okay.
Wednesday, April 26th.
Yes, here it is down here, yep. Yeah,
So for the Veterans Advisory Board and just public record, I am getting communication from Wakefield Memorial High School from many folks, and I just want to thank Tim Johnson, the varsity boys coach for the lacrosse team. This year, he's doing something. He spoke at the coffee, and he's doing something called Salute the Veterans or Salute to Services. And what that is one game in the season, which is the April 26th game. It'll be an evening game. Don't know who they're playing yet, but
There might be Wilmington.
Yeah, I think that's what he said, Wilmington.
Wilmington, thank you. And that game, there'll be a tribute to the services. And what he would like to do is, I think the hard time for the game is 6:30. So about 6 o'clock, 6:15, have some small ceremony before the game with veterans in the audience. And if you're not doing, I would mark it on your calendar, April 26th, to attend that game. And that's going to be a special tribute to veterans and those that have served in the military. I've also offered to him the service flags that are in the town conference room in town hall. Not to do a color guard, but he can definitely have those available at the event on display. You know, a student can carry those or just hold them in place. I'll be happy to help them to figure out the order that they're supposed to go in. But I think it's a good thing to do. I put it on my calendar, and my wife and I plan to attend that game. And I encourage others to do the same. This is something that the coaches and the athletic teams have not done, but they do in other towns. And Tim shared with us on Saturday at the Veterans Coffee that this is really a great idea. And I hope it kind of carries over to the football team, perhaps baseball, and even hockey. Because
great Veterans Corner thing, Paul. That'd be good for the Veterans Corner, advertising that in the item.
Good point.
I'm sure WCAT might pick that up too.
Well,
You would.
yeah, and I think Tim is, he's on to that. And he's working on a flyer to send to WCAT to put on the community bulletin board. Also, Jen McDonald is in a position to help him out on that matter too.
Also, I believe, I don't know if it's just the Wakefield team or both teams will be wearing T-shirts that are specially made for that. They're going to be like a camouflage, like a military style.
Yeah, yeah. And I believe he also made a statement. He made a statement about doing some sort of a fundraiser to give some funds to one of the two funds that we have in town for veterans. The Veteran Support Fund, Veteran Relief Fund that we have in town. I do know that Maureen Butt did follow up, and she wanted to get his contact information, and I shared that with her earlier. So he's connected to the town council on some of those ideas. I also wanted to make mention, while we're talking about Tim Johnson, Dave Robinson, who's the director of guidance, is in communication with me. And I am working on setting up an appointment with David and I to talk to the guidance team about military career opportunities. Specifically, how we can help the guidance team and to get information to students in their exploration phase of career opportunities and career fields. The United States military offers some tremendous opportunities for students, specifically freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And I'm not sure if we're still within the window, but I know the service academies offer leadership camps for a relatively low cost for about a 10-day or 2-week period at no obligation at all to high school students to go participate in some of those programs. And I believe that some of the ROTC organizations also offer a camp that the students can go to during the summer if they think they're interested in the military or just want to try it out without any obligation. Those are perfect opportunities for them to do that. And I want to begin to get that information into the guidance counselors, into the guidance operation there, and also point out that the application for colleges and universities are they begin to open up. If you look at the scholarships that are available, the Army ROTC, the Navy ROTC scholarships, and the Air Force ROTC scholarships, and then also some of the programs that are available for education and training for those that choose not to go to college and perhaps enlist in the military. There's some tremendous opportunities to get some classes and education in those fields also. So I'm working with David Robinson on that to put together that. David, you and I are just waiting to find out what the best time is to meet with him. I'm going to anticipate a Friday, so maybe in the morning or in the afternoon, but I don't know what times are good for his team.
Well, Friday will work for me, Paul, because I'm off on Fridays, so I can just put that timeline.
Yeah.
And just what we were talking about is the outreach that we were talking about at the last meeting. It's getting to the youth, it's the sports, it's military careers. It's just what we were trying to do.
Well, the last person that is responding to my emails is the principal, Amy McLeod. She gets it. And the social studies group that they have there at the high school they're knee deep in the Italian exchange program this month, but next month they'll have some time to put aside to talk about what they want to do for the school assembly on Memorial Day, which is great. So whatever we did, Dan, we broke the ice. Thank you for your help. Kicking down the doors over there. And anybody else. I appreciate the help.
I think we all took that step forward and signed that blank check, so.
Yes, we did. Memorial Day, I have, David, you did a good job of telling us why the Vietnam Veteran Day is important. I will make an attempt to tell you why Memorial Day is going to be important here in Wakefield. I don't know. I personally have not met Andrew Biggio, who is the guest speaker for Memorial Day, but I will tell you that I've been trying to get him to speak at not just Wakefield events, but also military officers events, military officer association events, and also downtown at for the military order of world wars. But I just want to emphasize that this Memorial Day, the theme is gratitude. And I want to share with the board here that Andrew Biggio has always had a passion for military history of the Second World War, and since a very young age. Tragically, this passion developed from the loss of both of his grandfathers, who had a brother killed in action during World War II. Andrew was taught about sacrifice since childhood, and after graduating from Malden Catholic High School in 2006, he enlisted in the United States Marines, and he served as an infantryman, the United States Marines during Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. He finished 6 years in the Marine Corps as a sergeant and earned his bachelor's degree in sociology from Suffolk University in Boston, Massachusetts. And after college, Andrew felt the need to continue to serve. He was sworn in as a police officer in 2015, where he actually works in Massachusetts law enforcement. And in 2017, he went on to earn a master's degree in Homeland Security from Northeastern University in Boston. Andrew's the founder of Boston's Wounded Vet Run and New England's largest motorcycle ride dedicated to severely wounded veterans. And for the last 10 years, Andrew saw the need to assist soldiers, Marines, airmen, and sailors who returned from Iraq and Afghanistan with injuries. His nonprofit has been responsible for housing modifications, new transportation, financial support, and basic living needs for some of America's most severely wounded combat veterans. No salary is collected from his nonprofit. While helping his own generation of veterans for the last decade, Andrew saw the urgency to start honoring World War II veterans as they were vanishing at an alarming rate. He saw the need to link their methods of living successful lives after combat and pass it on to today's veterans. This sparked a 3-year journey. Over 200 veterans later, Andrew was fortunate to publish a written experience of the journal that he called The Rifle. This book is available in the library for those of you that are interested, and I highly recommend that you read it. At the average age of 94, there was one instrument that brought these men and women back to World War II, and that was the M1 Grand Rifle. Being the standard issue rifle of that time, each veteran had their own memorable experience with the weapon. Just by grasping the rifle, it acts as a time machine, bringing them back for some 75 years. The most magnificent stories would be shared through this rifle. As I said earlier, securing Andrew as a guest speaker has been a long journey for me, but part of his work includes traveling back to the European battlefields with the veterans of these battles from World War II, with accompanying family members and friends. You can see more information about his activities in our communities and in the Commonwealth and the nation by checking into his website, The Rifle. And I will say that what I've seen on that website is an inspiration for myself and my family And I suggest it's also a tremendous inspiration for veterans and their families. And Andrew is also writing a second book that you can pre-order now on Amazon that has to do with some of the sadder side or the darker side of veterans in transition. Some of those stories he didn't share in the first book, but some of them about how they overcame their substance abuse and self-medication, alcoholism and drug use, depression, and some of the other things that many veterans are struggling with. So Andrew's working hard, and if you've ever been around on a nice warm spring day and you see all the motorcycles going down Main Street, and you had to stop in your car, and they were blocking traffic, that was part of that motorcycle ride, and Andrew's the guy that coordinates that here in Massachusetts. So tremendous initiative, energy, and effort by that man, I'm looking forward to meeting him. Any other just other highlights? This week I will invite, I'll send a letter. I'm going to send a note to the chief of police. I'm also going to send a note to our fire chief, Chief Sullivan, and I'm going to ask about ask him also to bring in the bells that they do, the song of the bell that they do to start the ceremony. And I'm also,
Hey, Paul,
yes.
Paul, quick one on that. You might want to reach out to Deputy Chief Purcell too. He's right now the provisional fire chief.
Thank you very much. And then the other piece of that is I will reach out. I thought the pastor of the Baptist church would be a good person to invite as our chaplain for the day, for Memorial Day. That community lost the church in autumn, and I remember the lightning strike that took it down, and ironically it was the start of game 1 for the World Series that the Red Sox were playing, happened at the same time. But that community is the community broke ground this week to begin to rebuild that church and that parish. And Memorial Day is about loss, but it's also about how you overcome loss. And I think that's a great pastor. So I'm going to invite him also this week to participate in Memorial Day. Of course, the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts are on the docket. I'll send the invitations out to them. And I probably will also do a quick meeting with WCAT for the Memorial Day prep, just to make sure that their questions are answered and we don't have any surprises on the day of the event. Any other? I encourage you, if you want, I posted on the Wakefield community calendar on the town webpage the information about the Memorial Day event, so you can check into that. Robert, I think we have the auditorium secured, right?
Yep, we do. Yep, we officially have it.
Okay. And please share that information. It's on the calendar with your family, friends, your other veterans organizations that you may be in touch with around town. Any questions on Memorial Day and setting that up? Any ideas?
Have we got a hold of Tommy Collins or anybody from the American Legion for the flags and everything?
I have not yet. And I last word I heard on him was he was recovering. I haven't heard how he's doing.
He doesn't leave home much.
He what?
He doesn't leave home much because his significant other is really bad as well. She's got Alzheimer's or dementia. I'm not sure which it is, so he can't leave her a lot. But if you want, I have to call him anyway, so I'll ask if he's gonna be able to do the flags this year. Because I have to give him a call this week anyway.
Okay,
Well, there's only like four, was it Billy Walsh, Sam Steller, and Bowling?
They just shut down the American Legion Auxiliary. They took away their charter because there weren't enough of us there, so I had to demit over to Saugus. But I think that's all that's left. Nepal Fazina, Billy Walsh, Tom, and Sam. I think those are the only
Yeah.
four left for the American Legion. I don't know if that side of it has to have so many, but the auxiliary had to have at least 6 members in order to stay with their charter.
yeah.
And we only had, I think, 3. There were 3 of us left. So, but I'll call him and ask him if he's gonna be doing the Memorial Day flags and stuff.
Okay. The last item I just want to share, coming up on March 27, all of us on the board should have received a note from Sherry about the volunteer appreciation dinner at the Wakefield Memorial High School. There'll be some refreshments, and Sherry has put the information out. Did everybody get a note, an email about that on the 27th?
Oh, I didn't get it.
No,
Well, you're paid.
yeah, you're an employee.
I know, I can't go to that. I know that happened last year. And I was a little disappointed they didn't invite me along, but I figured out why. So that's fine.
That's why you make the big bucks.
Oh, yeah, big bucks, big bucks.
I'll be down in DC that night, David. Why don't you can have my piece of chicken.
I'll pass on it. That's good.
For those of us who volunteer, it's a terrific opportunity to go and meet some others that do volunteer. And it was interesting that last year I went, and that was the first time I saw Colleen Getty. And please don't tell her this, and I know this is public, but boy, she looks a lot bigger on Zoom than she did in person. But she's a terrific person, and heading up the Room to Write program that I do support. And you know, those ladies do a great job with that program. And I have something to talk to her about when I see her on the 27th of March about Memorial Day, because I want to involve them in the program if we can. Does anybody have any new business? Going around the horn. Dan?
Did they increase the time period to apply for appointments on the board? I thought they might have increased it by about 30 days or so. Maybe Bob would know that.
No, I don't think so, because they're trying to get the appointments done by the end of April. But
Yeah.
yeah, you'd have to check with Sherry on that.
I thought it's like March 30th. And it had been like the 17th, I think.
Well,
What
that's to apply. And
Yeah.
then with the desire to have the town council make the appointments by the end of April.
Yeah, I don't think there's any change in that timeline,
Yeah, I don't think so.
but that's a
Unless
good,
we don't get enough applicants.
that's a good question. I need to just look on the agendas for town council to see that gets on there as an agenda item in the April meetings. There's 2 meetings in April, correct, Bob?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
The what are they? The
Second and fourth.
no, the 10th and 24th, because we meet on March 27th. So there's 3 meetings coming up between now and the end of April.
Okay. Yeah, the terms expire at the end of April, so the decision during the April town council meeting will definitely be helpful. And just to clarify, our next meeting in April is on April 18, Tuesday night at 6:30. Okay. Any questions? Marion, I'm just gonna go around the horn here. Anything?
Nope. I'll try to write up some kind of article or get some info, something for you for the corner.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Joe,
No, nothing else tonight.
Mark,
All set here.
Mr. Secretary,
No, sir, nothing.
Mr. Curran,
I'm all good. Thanks, Paul.
all good. Mr. Vincent,
I'm fine, thanks.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining tonight. Appreciate your support and keep in touch. Thank you very much and happy spring.
Same to you,
night, all.
Paul.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody.
Night all. Good night.
Okay.